welcome to the newest episode of Firm Thinking. My name's Nicole Santo, and I am honored and privileged to be here today with my dear friend and the founder and CEO of Dress for Success, Luzerne County, Linda Armstrong.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for having me today. It's a great day to be outside.
It is. It's beautiful, right?
Oh, yeah. We need a lot more days like this.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here. Just wanted to get started by asking you to tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in this area, out in Pittston and the surrounding areas. And when I was young, a baby, my family moved to New York. And I went to school in New York up until about my 8th grade, when my mother, we returned here to Pittston Township. I graduated from Pittston area, and at the time, it was the late 70s, there wasn't much going on in this area for young people, and there weren't really too many opportunities. So I don't think the ink was dry on my diploma, and I headed back to New York and started what turned out to be a 30-year career in the financial services. So I was on Wall Street for about 30 years. And then, you know, September 11th, which I don't want to get into, that kind of happened, and I stuck it out for another few years and then said, you know, my life is got to be about more than getting and spending. And so I returned to my home in Luzerne County, West Pittston. And after fumbling around here, I mean, I was too young to be retired. So I discovered Dress for Success when I was in New York, and just thought it'd be a great thing for Luzerne County to do. So.
And it definitely has been.
Yeah, I think so. We're lucky. Like, as you know, Nicole, this is our 10th year.
Yes.
Actually, December will be the 10th anniversary of the first woman we helped. A really lovely woman named Rachel, who came to us from United Rehab Services. And, you know, we haven't followed her up, but it was a great experience to work with her. And since then, we've reached about 1,500 women for clothing support, and we're doing a lot of other services now too, so it's good.
You know, obviously, being involved in Dress for Success Luzerne County, I'm very proud of it. When I came back to the area, I wanted, you know, to get involved, you know, with the community. And I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I met you, and, you know, I think I started as a mentor to one of the women that you served, and, you know, it was such an amazing experience. How does one go about founding a nonprofit organization such like Dress for Success? Well,
first you have to lose your mind totally. I mean, you got to get any kind of rational thinking off the table. And I think what my superpower at the time was, I'm not afraid of government forms. So
a lot of them.
Doing a 990, doing the 501c3 application, doing the bylaws, doing all of this, really wasn't hard for me. When I look back at the business plan, that was a little difficult, because I would much rather do the business plan than write the business plan. So that was like pulling teeth. But once I got through that, and you know, periodically I do go back to my business plan. Like everything I wrote has come to fruition, and it was the best way to have gone about it. The only thing is, I remember I was in school at King's College at the time, and when I was opening Dress for Success, and my professor, Margarita Rose, Dr. Rose, asked me, you know, well, what do you think about opening and funding? I said, oh, the hardest part about grants is getting grants. I was like, oh, wasn't that sweet? It was really cute, you know? And a few years later, I ran into her, and she had asked me, like, did you think it was everything it was going to be? And I said, wow, no. She goes, what did you think it was going to be? I said, well, I thought I was going to facilitate miracles, change lives, watch unicorns sneeze glitter all over the world. And she said, and what is it? I said, begging for money. People see me and walk on the other side of the street. It's crazy. I mean, it's what a not-for-profit is. But
And you know, so many people, it's funny, Linda, I have to tell you, because I have 3 emails in my inbox right now asking me, you know, friends, coworkers, saying, when can I donate clothes? And so everyone, you know, obviously you think Dress for Success, you think clothes. So tell us, obviously it's so much more than clothes.
Yeah.
Tell us about the mission behind Dress for Success.
Well, our mission is threefold. We empower women to achieve economic independence, and by providing a network of support, career-appropriate attire, and the development tools a woman needs to thrive in work and in life. So the clothes help us to allow a woman to see what we see in her. You know, the clothes help us match the outside to her inside and bring out that character. We've seen women who were going for work as sales assistants and looking at themselves. I said, what do you see? I see a store manager. For women, our looks are very tied to sometimes how we feel about ourselves.
It's true.
Unfortunately. And it is tied to the way society sees us and judges us. So what we do is we, again, just help a woman see what we see in her, the hope, the value, and giving a woman just a little bit of that somebody's out there and somebody cares, and somebody's going to support and somebody's going to be there. Those are the friendships, and that's where the magic happens. So of course everybody sees like, oh, I got a ton of clothes in my closet for you. I don't want a ton of your clothes. Or, you know, at least 3 times a week I get a phone call that, oh, my grandma just died. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. Oh, that's all right. She was 95 and she's been in that nursing home for 15 years. And I finally getting around to clean her closet. No, move it along. What we need, and we ask for it, new, gently worn, clean, and contemporary. If it's over 5 years old, we can't use it. Unless it's vintage Chanel, then by all means, bring it in.
Oh, that would be nice.
Those old Louis Vuitton bags you no longer like, we'll deal with them. But what it is it's training. Teaching a woman how to pick her head up, look somebody in the eye, shake hands, let them know that she knows her value. Very oftentimes our women will come in, and every woman we deal with is in an at-risk situation stemming from domestic violence, prolonged unemployment, chronic poverty, drug and alcohol abuse. I mean, there's domestic violence. I mean, it just goes on. It rattles the brain what our women are doing. 97% of them are raising 2 to 3 children on their own. So when we take a woman off of welfare, Nicole, we're taking 2 to 3 children, and that's how we believe we're going to end generational poverty.
That's so important.
It is.
So obviously the clothes are a part of it, but they're the last part of it. They're the last step in the process. And I know from experience working with you, you have so many workshops that you offer, so many different communities of women that you've served. Just explain some of what you've done in terms of, you know, interview prep, interview skills, resume workshops. Just explain some of those things that you've done in the past to help the women in Luzerne County.
Well, most of the time when I'm sitting with a woman and she'll come in she has a job interview or we meet, and I'll say, what kind of work are you looking for? What do you want to do? I'll take anything. Well, if you take anything, you're going to be back here in 6 months, because there are certain jobs there's no way they should allow me to do. Absolutely not. Don't allow me in a school with your children. I just don't do well with it, okay? I love my grandkids, but a whole bunch of kids don't do it for me. I couldn't work in a library. You know, there's certain things I can't do. So if a woman will just take any job because she needs the money, she'll be back. So what we really try to do is get to the root, what'll make magic for her. She's got struggle, she throws her feet over her bed in the morning, gets out of that bed, and let's make her like get out lighter. So what does she really want to do? We do skills assessments. Yes, we do interview skills. Yes, we look at resumes, but there's a lot more self-discovery. A vision board. If a woman could show me what she wants her life to look like, we can show her how to get there. There's training, there's schooling out there that it's an amazing time. We live in a great commonwealth, and in this area we have such good resources that they just don't know about. They don't know about. So what we try to do is act as that connector.
Right.
And again, then our women feel like, wow, there's somebody out there that cares. There's somebody out there who believes in me, who maybe I can go to school, maybe I can do this or that. And I know I've seen it firsthand. When mom is home doing her homework and her kids are home doing their homework, it's great. I mean, the family is so wonderfully functional when everybody's studying and working at the same goal. So, I mean, mom's got to be an example for everybody. So let's get her to be a really good example.
Absolutely. Now, I know you touched on, September 11th. You touched on, obviously, I know we're here in September. It's September 25th.
I miss September to everybody.
I know, and I know that along the way, these past 10 years, you've definitely had some issues to overcome, especially in September. So I appreciate you coming in September to speak with us.
I'm pretty impressed that you're brave enough to, Bill O'Boyle from the Times Leader calls me and says from a distance, hey, how are you? Yeah, I mean, September 11th, then my home was destroyed on that 10th anniversary, and September isn't really a great month.
And then the shop.
For me. The shop, I opened the door and there was a flood there too. So it's floods, terrorist attacks, and I should not be around in September. And thank you for reminding me that I should be totally depressed, but
Well, through it all, you've been so resilient.
I think I'm too dopey not to be. Like, what's your option? And that's one thing in my life. I go, what's your choice? Yeah, I don't want to get out of bed some days, but now my hips hurt and I've got to get out of bed. And so, you get up, you put on your lipstick, and you do what you have to do in life. And, I know the women I serve deal with a lot more hardships. And right after, it was in September, that's how I met. A rock was thrown through our shop window. I think we were just open for a few months, and a rock was thrown through our window, and we were responsible. And I just and then the flood happened a few days later. It was really crazy. And I realized that I used our women as an example. And I think it was after the flood then, I was yelling at my contractor over the phone saying, you don't know, I'm homeless, this is horrible, this is terrible, get over to my house, finish your work. And 2 women from the homeless shelter came and said, wow, we feel really bad for you. And I was like, okay, that just really ate my lunch. I said, you know what?
Put it in perspective.
Shut up. Because with the grace of God, my idea of homelessness was being in my mother's best friend's house in Avoca, fighting over allowing her to iron my sheets. I acquiesced and allowed her to iron my pillowcases. Now, I've been in the shelters. That's not what's going on there. And with this pandemic, it's, I sat with the director of Kirby House with the Salvation Army, and kids there are doing homework on government phones without Wi-Fi, no computers. You could drive by the libraries or stores or restaurants with Wi-Fi and see people huddled up. Let's really take a look at our privilege.
Right.
Not everybody is going to fare well in this pandemic, and it's the women we serve, those most at risk. And economically, this pandemic is hitting women. Retail jobs, food service jobs, educational support. These are the jobs that have gone away.
Right.
We had a good friend at Catherine's by Wyoming Valley Mall. They went out of business. And I went into her, and she used to donate. And she's like, Linda, I'm here 23 years. What am I going to do?
Right.
So, it really does wake up and think, the most at risk among us are really going to be at risk. So everybody put your kindness together and help somebody.
So how has COVID impacted, obviously it's impacted charitable organizations around the country. How has it impacted Dress for Success locally?
We were given a really good gift. So it goes back to New Year's Eve. We have been, for the past 5 years, a recipient of a grant from the state called PA Workwear, where we were paid a stipend to work with people who receive TANF, and that's cash assistance. And we got a few dollars to do that. Well, New Year's Eve, we found out that money's gone. Sorry, we're canceling the grants, program's done. And that was really sad. So the state goes on fiscal years. So we knew that June 30th was the end of the grant. I think it was in May. We got a letter from the state saying, we changed our mind. We're giving you another year. So that's helping sustain us. But we are down significantly. Our golf outing.
My favorite outing of the year.
I know, and mine too. I loved,
We have a good time.
2 redheads in a beer cart.
Links for Success.
Yeah, Links for Success. We haven't had that. Our Diamonds event is postponed, and those were our 2 biggest events. We did a drive-by, we call it a drive-up Diva bag sale, where we took some of our designer clothing and sold it. We had to clear inventory because everybody is home cleaning out their closets and banging on my door to deliver clothes, and I'm not opening the door. I shut out the lights and I hide. And because CareerLink and a lot of our referral partner programs aren't open, we're not seeing the women we need to see. However, when all of this starts opening up, and with the downturn in the economy, I believe the floodgates are going to open, and I'm going to be the busiest woman in town. So I do believe we are the next first responders to the economic crisis. And every Dress for Success in the system is getting ready for that. So, we have to be ready to serve our people.
Makes your job even more important.
Yeah, thank you. And yours too.
That's right.
Because I can't do my job without you. And it's the community. One thing I love about living here is that there is a community. And people come out and want to participate. And, I realized on the anniversary of September 11th and going through this pandemic and realizing the political climate and all the craziness that's going on in the world. If you're making, let's say, $500,000 a year, and you live wherever you live, here locally in northeastern Pennsylvania, and your neighbor is hungry, how good is your life really? And if you could look out your window and say, oh, well, ha, 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 then you're just creep. You're just a horrible person. So I don't know. I just think that if you can't look at a person in need and wonder how you can help that need, how you can fulfill that, a little act of kindness, you don't have to dedicate your life to it. An act of kindness, something directed to help somebody, could change someone's life. I've seen a pair of shoes change someone's life. Just believing in somebody change someone's life. And, if you can't do that, to the least of your brothers or
Right.
sisters, what's your life about?
Serving community is so important.
Right.
And I know all the women involved in Dress for Success, Luzerne County, all of our board members, we all feel the same way and feel so strongly about it.
You're a working board, and I appreciate that. I really do, put you guys to work. And it's wonderful seeing our sisterhood. And with the bag distribution, it was wonderful seeing everybody, because we are a bunch of social women. And we're like, oh, no, I can't hug you, but okay, I appreciate it.
It was nice to get together.
Yeah, it was.
So tell me what you have on deck for 2021 going forward.
Well, we will hope to put on at least 3 cohorts of our Set for Success program, where that takes a woman on a journey from who am I, what do I want to do, to basically sitting in front of a job board and interviewing. We're teaching her interviewing skills, And what does she really want to do? What does this new economy look like to a woman who's just totally disenfranchised now? A woman who used to be our donor, who's now a client. So tables are turning a lot. And giving our services and being there for the community and putting on great events, because they are fun. You know,
we have a good time.
We do have a good time. I have my dress for the Diamonds event already and hanging up and like...
Which will be in February now at the Woodlands.
Hoping, yes, we're hoping it comes out. We had, as a matter of fact, the trivia question of Dress for Success Luzerne County is right now. The last event held was our International Women's Day luncheon.
A fantastic event.
Yeah, Mrs. Fetterman, Giselle Fetterman came, hugging everybody, and she was like, "Oh, they tell me don't do this anymore." I was like, "You better stop doing it." The next day, everything was canceled, everything closed down. So that was pretty interesting time. But,
and well, that is now going to be an annual event to celebrate International Women's Day.
Right. Well, it came to pass that women in our community love to do a support luncheon, and a lot of our women in business come to that, and we have some good surprises on deck and some people that we're hoping to bring in. And so we're gonna, this pandemic's gonna be over. We're gonna celebrate. The first Friday in March will be International Women's Day, and
then we will have our 5th annual golf tournament. Well, we missed a year, but
it's still our 5th annual, because this year, 2020, does not count. We are extending our 10th anniversary for another year, at least until June of next year. Because it's just, who wants to count this, you know? And yeah, but it'll be good.
You have served so many women. You've done so many wonderful things for this community. What is a moment that's most memorable to you in the past 10 years, you know, doing this and doing the good work that you're doing?
There were two, actually. One just happened, that a woman walked by the shop. We are on West Market Street, and this woman like pounded through the shop, and she says, "I just want to thank you." I said, "For what? Like, who are you?" She goes, "Yeah, you don't even remember me. You just moved here and you helped me get a job." I said, "Yeah?" She goes, "Yeah." "Thank you. I love you." And she ran out. And I had some people in the office, and they were like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "Yeah, that was," and I needed it, you know, that God, the universe, has given me that gift when I needed it. And one thing that, and probably the most memorable moment, was my house was flooded in West Pittston, and I was giving it back to the bank. We had negotiated some terms. It's a nice way to say foreclosure. It wasn't foreclosed, but we did a short sale, and we got out of that house. And my fiance and I were moving into our new house. We bought a handyman special that we built in Pittston, way above the river. River can't touch this house. And so we were shopping for appliances, because that's the way I do foreclosure. We have to get all new appliances, stainless steel, right? Who do I think I am, right? So we're in Lowe's, and this woman stopped her cart, and she was looking at me, and I'm, you know, I can be snarky. And I'm looking, I said, "Oh, she doesn't like my use of the term black stainless. What's this about?" And she said, "Aren't you dressed for success?" And then I realized I was speaking with a client. I said, "Yeah." She goes, 5 years ago, CareerLink sent me to you, and you helped me get ready for a job interview. And because I'm snarky and was feeling very victimized over the bank's foreclosure, I said, "So how did that go? How'd that interview go? I haven't seen you in 5 years." And she said, "Oh, I got that job." I said, "Oh, great. And look at you shopping on a Friday afternoon. What are you buying?" And she says, "I'm buying a rug shampoo for the house I just bought." So there was a woman with 2 teenage children who went from welfare to owning a home in 5 years.
It's incredible.
And I was feeling, you know, when I'm feeling my worst, I get my most snarky. And my fiance was with me, and I got like worse than I am now. And he just put his arms out and he hugged me. And he said to me, he goes, "I've never been prouder of anybody in my life, Linda." And we were going to Florida that weekend because, again, that's how I do homelessness and foreclosure, by going on vacation after buying appliances. And he bragged about it to everybody we saw behind my back. He's like, "Wow, yeah, you should see what she does." So I've been rewarded in a lot of ways, and I know we've reached people that have really, truly needed us. And so that keeps you going. So, yeah, those moments are what does it for me.
Well, I would hug you right now if I could, but
I know,
6
nobody
feet.
can, right? And where's my tissues? At least if I had that
I know
mask
we're
around me.
not prepared. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't plan on crying today, but okay.
So you have inspired so many people, including myself.
Thank you.
Who do you look to, man or woman, alive or dead, that you found to be your most inspirational person?
Wow. My mother was always very giving, and there was always room at our table for people that we weren't that familiar with at that point, but people that became friendly, became friends, became family. I was always raised with an open, a sense of, open heart. And I watched my mother struggle, and my mother was one of the first divorced people I knew. So it was in the 60s, and my mother was divorced with 2 children. And the child support system was horrible to her. And I think when I think back about why I opened Dress for Success, I remember as a little girl, and I always like clothes, I like to decorate myself. I had a little pair of Mary Janes that I must have been playing in the mud with. And my mother took me to a Buster Brown. So this shows you, it was the 60s. And the salesman was horrible to my mother about the condition of my shoes. When I liked them, I didn't care that they were little Mary Janes covered in mud. And he's like, "With your permission, madam, I'll throw these out." And I was like, "Where are you going with my shoes?" And I remember my mother's look, the look in my mother's eye. And I don't know that my mother had money for bread, let alone a pair of shoes to replace. And so yeah, my mother, my sister, my older sister, and my late sister, my niece, the women in my life, you, Nicole. I mean, I look at people and I'm so amazed at what you've accomplished and what we're doing, and the fact that you give back, and the fact that you tolerate me. 'Cause I know I'm a strong personality. I should have a warning label on me.
So Linda,
Yes, ma'am.
you're a pro at this. You get interviewed all the time.
Yes.
Tell us one thing that no one knows about you.
I've been trying real hard to keep those secrets, but all right, he won't see this, and I'll make sure he doesn't. But I kind of proposed to my fiance.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm using Jenny Wade, the Jenny Wade House in Gettysburg, as a spiritual guide. I think it's time. We're of an age. We ride motorcycles. We're old. It's time, I think, and I'm, so the other thing people don't really know about me, I'm building up. I'm going to be 60 in March, and I'm building up. This is my birthday revamp for 60.
Well, we have to celebrate.
I know, right?
I didn't know that, so.
Yeah, I'll be 60 on March 30th, so yeah, that's going to kill me. So yeah, cut out the part that I proposed to my fiance.
Well, Steve's a keeper. We all know that.
He is. Steve is a really good man. He just looks at me and goes, "You go, Baba, you go." My nickname is Baba. Don't ever call me Baba, but yeah. So gearing up to my 60th birthday and wanting to see what's next. You got to see what's next.
So Linda, tell our listeners and our viewers how they can get in touch with you.
The best way is by email. I'm always reachable by email. I check my email several times a day. My email address is luzernecounty@dressforsuccess.org. All one word, dressforsuccess.org. Luzerne County at dressforsuccess.org.
And is there a website where you have some information?
Right. LuzerneCounty.dressforsuccess.org.
And I have to ask the question, are you accepting clothing donations anytime soon?
Oh, COVID restrictions. And the real issue is we have a very solid volunteer force of people who are of an age that are most susceptible to COVID, and they've asked to back off for it a little bit. So if you have new clothes with the tags on them, not old clothes that you've had in the back of your closet that you just never took the tags off of, but newer clothes, give us a call, 570-270-4949. And we could talk and tell them you heard this podcast, and I'll be grouchy and grumpy and yeah, okay, come and
like the Facebook page, right?
Like us on Facebook, and that way we always have something going on.
Oh, great events coming up. Well, thank you so much, Linda. It's been a wonderful
Nicole.
afternoon. It's been great catching up with you.
It is. I miss you.
I miss you too.
And that baby. Oh, I love her.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.